Hello everyone. If you can hear me, I'm not sure I got the phone set up. Hopefully you can hear me. Welcome to, I believe, lesson 12, but there's going to be a little bit more to this video than normal. Lesson 12 of how to drive a stick shift vehicle. As you can see there, I had to push the clutch pedal in to start it. It was in first gear, and as soon as I started it, I shifted into neutral. Parking brake down, and off we go. To 2500, there we go, 2500 RPM, shift into second gear. The reason I said this is going to be a little bit different, a little bit longer, isn't so much the lesson on how to drive a stick, it's because this isn't just going to be how to drive a stick shift. I'm also heading to the range to do some content there. So I figured I might as well try to do a longer video and do a couple different things in it. Last time I looked at my channel, I was at 591 subscribers, and I keep trying to post. That's why I keep trying to make and post content as consistently as I can, trying to get my channel to grow more and more and more. As I've always said in my shout out videos, I don't have the words to express how grateful I am of how much my channel has grown in such a short time. I'm in fifth gear now because I'm doing 45. I'm accelerating to 50 because that's what the speed limit is. But that's just, with this car, as I've said before, it's a 2.3 liter, 4-cylinder, 5-speed. It's similar to, almost identical to a 99 Accord that I had that was the same size engine and same amount of gears. And 0 to 10 miles an hour is first gear, 10 to 20 is second gear, 20 to 30 is third gear, 30 to 40 is fourth gear, and anything above 40 miles an hour is fifth gear. Now, there are ways to skip gears. I've covered that in my videos as well, where you can do that. I don't do that very often, but I do that some, where you can, if I'm in like, the only two ways I skip gears are I will go from first to second to fourth to fifth, or from first to second to third to fifth. There was one video I posted a few weeks ago, or maybe a month ago, where I went from first to third to fifth, but that was only for the video. And there's also been times where I've taken off from second gear. I haven't done that very often. I do believe I did that for a video at one point. I can't remember if I did or not. And no, I'm not going to do it for this video because this is going to be a longer video, and if I was going to do that, I would be doing it for just a little YouTube short. But the place where I'm going is roughly a half hour away from where I live to do some range content. Thought I'd try to make a longer video because most of my range videos are, maybe between 10 and 20 some minutes long. I think my longest video was between a half hour and 40 minutes. I want to say it was one of the videos where I was playing basketball with my buddy John, who has 2 separate YouTube channels. And I think we played, the video was titled Playing Horse with a Twist, because we were playing Clydesdale, which is a type of horse, and it had 10 letters in it. That video was over a half hour long. I don't remember if that was my longest video. It very well may have been. I'm trying to make a roughly hour plus long video and see how many views it gets. So not only am I doing this video to do some how to drive a stick shift content and also how, some range time content, but I'm also just seeing how long I can make a video that, and see how many videos. I'm experimenting with links, different links to videos to see how many views they might get. Because as my channel continues to grow, I want to just see, what type of, if people really like watching longer videos, or if they really like watching shorter videos, or if it's a mix of both. Speaking of my buddy John, I actually did make plans today with him. I don't know if we're going to do anything or not yet, because we made plans a couple days ago to get together today and do some stuff, but the weather isn't exactly cooperating with what we were planning on doing. We were planning on doing some more basketball content or just more sports content in general, but the weather's not very friendly for that right now. Now that's right now. It's only like 9 something in the morning, close to 10. It's him and I made plans for later on this afternoon, probably early afternoon. I don't know, between noon and 2, I was going to contact him. But enough about that. This part of the video is supposed to be how to drive a stick shift. Now, if you haven't been able to tell, I've shifted all the way down to like 2nd gear, and then went all the way back up to 5th gear. That's because people were slowing down in front of me and turning. I won't be, unless something comes up, my next intersection is not for several miles, I won't be slowing down at all. I'll be this is my opportunity to talk about how to drive a stick shift as opposed to just showing it. As I said, I had an 02 Honda Civic that was a 1.9 liter engine. It was a 4-cylinder, it was a 5-speed. Now, its gears were a little bit different. I was still able to do I was still able to do on average roughly 0 to 10, 10 to 20, 20 to 30, 30 to 40, and all the lower gears. But honestly, in that car, because it was just a little bit smaller in terms of the engine, I was already in 5th gear by the time I hit 40 miles an hour. This car and my Accord that I had are different. They're bigger, so that's why I was able to hit 40 miles an hour in 4th gear, and sometimes I was even able to go up to 50 miles an hour. Because sometimes when you're driving a stick, you're so used to it that you sometimes space it. There was one time I did 40 miles an hour for about a mile in 3rd gear in my Accord. Just depends. But in terms of like skipping gears or taking off from 2nd gear, which is what I've been told a lot of people try to do, because you have to shift so quickly out of 1st gear when you take off. You have 1st gear through 5th gear, through 6th gear, 7th gear, however many gears you have in your vehicle, in your stick shift vehicle or manual vehicle, because there are some vehicles that are really old and they have what's called 3 on a tree or 3 on a column, which is the shifters up here on the steering wheel. I know you can't see my hand. The shifter is up here, and there's only 3 speeds to it. You got some vehicles that are 4 speeds, that they're older, but you have all those gears for a reason. Use them. That's why, with the exception of a couple times in life just to see if I could do it, and I believe once or twice for a video, I've always taken off from 1st gear. And in skipping gears, I only did it once for a video. I went from 1st to 3rd to 5th, but when I skip gears, the only time my only 2 ways of skipping gears is, as I said earlier, 1st, 2nd, 4th, 5th, or 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 5th. When you downshift, me personally, in this car, I don't like to downshift from 5th to 4th until I'm at least doing 55 miles an hour. That's 15 miles over 40, which is what 4th gear starts in. Now, when I'm downshifting, I will also downshift into 3rd I won't downshift into third until I'm doing about 40 miles an hour. And I've only downshifted into second a few times, and I won't downshift into second until I'm at least, well, for third gear, I'll shift down and when I'm around 40 to 45. For third gear, for second gear, I'll shift down when I'm doing about probably 20 to 25. Or I'm sorry, 30 to 35. I don't downshift into first gear. I haven't even done that for a video, I don't think. I just don't feel it's necessary. It's first gear. It's 0 to 10 miles an hour. I don't feel it's necessary to downshift into first gear. So that's why anytime I've downshifted, every now and again I've gone down to second gear, but then I will literally either put the vehicle in neutral, and I'll do one of three things. The three different ways of slowing down or stopping and downshift. Since I've already done that, downshifting into second gear, what I'll do at that point is I'll either put the vehicle in neutral, which requires me to push the clutch pedal in, or I will simultaneously push the clutch pedal. Well, not exactly simultaneously. What I do is I push the clutch pedal in and then gently brake. I don't slam on the brakes, I just push the brakes and I stop that way, and then I'll put the vehicle in neutral when I'm at a complete stop. Or the most common way, and the most simplest, or the easiest way in my opinion, is to just hit the clutch pedal. We'll push the clutch pedal in, shift it to neutral, then hit the brake. When you do that, you do not have to keep the clutch pedal pushed in. When the vehicle is in neutral, like that, I'm pushing the clutch pedal in right now, and it's so when you decide to brake that way, when you decide to slow down or stop, that way you push the clutch pedal in, you put the vehicle in neutral, you can let off the clutch pedal anytime the vehicle is in neutral, and you can just push the brake. Now, if you put the vehicle in neutral and you want to speed up, put the vehicle in neutral, you won't do nothing when you hit the gas pedal other than make your RPMs go all out of whack. See, watch me. And the reason I'm making so many of these videos, or trying to make so many of these videos, is because I've noticed since I learned how to drive a stick shift back in 2016, so 7 years now, a little over 7 years, because I believe it was June of 2016, so I may have said 17. Ever since I learned how to drive a stick in June of 2016, driving any type of manual vehicle is becoming a bit of a dead art, if you will. It's becoming a very very uncommon way of transportation. People either don't want to learn how to drive it, don't know how to drive it, or if you're like my dad, I've said this before, if you're like him, he drove a stick shift for his regular transportation and for his job for so long that he got tired of it, and he decided he didn't want to drive a stick anymore. So anytime he gets a regular vehicle, he prefers it to be an automatic. He got tired of shifting. I've only been driving a stick for a little more than 7 years. He drove a stick shift vehicle for so many different reasons for like 20 years. So that's why he got tired of it. Me personally, I still find it fun. I still find it exciting. Even though my tone of voice doesn't exactly say it, and honestly, I've noticed that it's a theft deterrent. Told you I was going to be at an intersection here in a few miles, and that's where I'm at right now. I realized I could have downshifted, but there was a vehicle almost right behind me, and I didn't feel like doing that, because when you downshift in a stick shift vehicle or a manual vehicle in any way, if there's a vehicle right behind you, they will not see brake lights, so you have to rely on them noticing that you're slowing down, and I don't prefer to do that. Try to be as courteous as possible when I'm driving a stick shift. Like I said, in that when I like to keep an eye on, and if anyone's behind me, I don't downshift. Or I try not to. Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. But most of the time, I keep an eye on if anyone's behind me in traffic or on the road in general. And if someone's like, not necessarily right behind me, but the vehicle's behind me is only about, I'd say maybe 10 feet away, 10, 12 feet away. And with that being the case, I didn't want to downshift, because, as I said, you have to rely on the person behind you noticing that you're slowing down, and it could lead to you being rear-ended, and I prefer not to do that. I'm not trying to call any drivers out there stupid. I'm just saying, common courtesy, I try to take their perspective into consideration. When I hit my brakes, they see brake lights, so they know I'm slowing down. If I downshift, they don't see brake lights, so they may not be aware that I'm slowing down. I had to downshift that time because I had to slow down. Didn't exactly downshift. I shifted in. I was in third gear. I put it in neutral for a split second, and then I had to slow down because the vehicle in front of me was taking its sweet time, and that's why I had to downshift. I had to shift into second gear before speeding up and going back into third gear. Now I'm already up to 45 miles an hour and speeding up even more, and I'm obviously in fifth gear. But this all depends when you shift and how you shift and what speed you are when you enter certain gears. All depends. I believe I said this a little bit earlier. And I know I've said it in previous videos. It all depends on the vehicle itself, the size of the engine, and how many gears you have. I was considering several months ago purchasing a like an 07 or 09 Honda Civic Sport. It was a 6-speed, but it was on like a 1.6 or 1.7 liter engine. I won't say who it is, but I have a friend that has a vehicle that I'm not sure what the size of the engine is, but it's a 6-speed as well. He uses 6-speed on the interstate. That's pretty much it. Or 6th gear on the interstate. I also, last year, I have a friend of mine that is a vehicle salesman, and him and I went and test drove, and I've touched on this before in previous videos like this. Him and I test drove a 2020 or 21 or something. I can't remember what year it was. It was between 20 and 22. It was a Dodge Challenger. It was a V8, and I believe it was a 5-speed. Well, don't quote me on that. And honestly, in the position I'm in right now in my life, that was an intimidating car. I was not comfortable driving that. But my buddy wanted me to try it out, and I did. Not for very long, though. Sorry about that. I was just not comfortable driving that. Plus, there's also been, there was one vehicle that same person allowed me to test drive. I told my friend that works at this dealership, I said, anytime you get a stick shift vehicle in, let me know. I want to come look at it. Well, I needed to be more specific because at one point, he called me and told me he had I won't say what kind of vehicle it was because I don't want to insult anybody out there. I'll just say that it was a small car. It was a 4-cylinder, 5-speed. It was a neon green color. And I looked at my buddy. I said, in what universe did you think I'd be interested in that car? He looked at me. He goes, hey, you told me anything that was a stick shift to let you know. I said, fair enough. He goes, if you want me to be more specific, you got to tell me. And one day I went on the lot to talk to him a little bit, and I happened to notice they had a 2002, I won't say what kind of Mazda it was, but it was a 2002 Mazda. And it was a 4-cylinder, 5-speed. I thought it was a nice car. And my buddy looked at me and he goes, hey, take it for a test drive. I said, dude, I saw the price tag on it. I said, it's got low miles, it's got a higher price tag than what I'm willing to spend. He's like, I realize that, but go ahead and take it for a test drive. I said, dude, I just told you I'm not going to buy it. You're a car salesman. Why are you telling me to take it for a test drive? Sorry. If you know I'm not going to buy it. He said, Dustin, take the keys, take the darn thing for a test drive. I said, okay, fine. Again, I won't tell you what type of miles it was, but I will say I got in this car. It was so small. I'm not exactly tall, but I'm not short. I'm about between 6 and 6'1". And I weigh about 215 to 225, depending on, it just depends. I got in this car. It was so small. I wasn't driving it. I was wearing it. I drove it around for a few blocks, brought it back. I looked at him. I said, dude, that thing is too small for me. He goes, Dustin, I know how you told me you only wanted, you prefer stick shifts, and no matter what it is, if it's a stick, you'd be interested in it. And he goes, I guarantee you're not interested in that car. I said, nope. No, as I said, I'm between 6 and 6'1". My buddy, he's about 6'3". He weighs a little bit more than me. He looked at me and goes, Dustin, I had to park that car on the lot. How do you think I feel? I was like, ouch. He said, he's like, the reason I wanted you to take that for a test drive is to learn the lesson. Just because something's a stick doesn't mean you're going to be interested in it. And I said, yeah, you're right. He's like, I know how much you like driving a stick, but I'm slowing down. That's why I put the vehicle in neutral. And again, I'm not going to downshift because there's still a vehicle almost directly behind me. He said, I know how much you enjoy driving a stick, but he said, just because something's a stick doesn't mean you're going to be interested in it. We're coming up on the range. We got maybe a few more miles. And if you haven't already guessed, to my subscribers that may watch this video, depending on how long it is, I'm going to Highsmith Guns in Greenfield to do some content. I am bringing one of my personal firearms, as well as I may try to shoot some of the stuff they have. They have a firearm rental program, and here's the thing. I got a membership there a little more than a month or two ago. With the membership program, if you sign up for it, no matter how much you pay, they have a monthly payment, they have a weekly, or they have a monthly payment, they have like a yearly payment. It just depends. But I think they have more. I think they have 3 different types of programs that you can be a member, but I can't remember what the third one is. One's a monthly payment, the other one's a yearly payment. Cheapest one in all reality, even though it costs more at the time, the cheapest one is the yearly, but I signed up for the monthly. Here's the thing though, when you do that, before when I wasn't a member and I'd go there, if I wanted to rent a firearm, I had to pay $10. And that was good for any firearm. I'd have to, if I wanted to try a firearm, I'd have to tell them, hey, I want to try that firearm out, take it to the range, shoot it some. I'd have to take that firearm back before getting another one, but it was the one-time payment of $10. With the membership program that I am now part of, renting a firearm doesn't cost anything. I'm going to pause this video after I get to Highsmiths to get parked, because I'm going to be heading in there into the range, get everything set up, and then I'm going to start the video again. As I said, I'm going to try and make this video as long as I possibly can. It's going to be primarily how to drive a stick shift car, which is what I'm obviously doing right now, and also I'm going to be shooting my own personal firearm, and I may be shooting some others. I haven't, like I said, I may be shooting some of theirs. I haven't decided yet. Oh, that's nice. Sorry, I went to go and try and take the lane to go straight, and unfortunately I didn't realize there was a big truck in the way. They're doing some construction right now. Pop my neck if you didn't hear that. I've done this in Body Talents videos that I've done. There it is, green light. All right. Okay. Finally, we're here. As I said, I'm going to pause this video after I get parked. They are not very busy today, which is good, because that means I can just get right in there. Parking brake up. And I'll see everyone very soon.